Discoveries from the past can be found in all parts of Texas, but one paleontologist feels the state needs a public museum devoted only to fossils. So he's hoping to fill that gap. It's the focus of Asher Elbein's story on the New York Times, and he joins us this afternoon to give us some insight. First of all, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so this is a lot to delve into with this story. Let's get to that commercial paleontologist that you spoke to, who has really a dream of opening up a public museum. Why is Texas really a hot spot for that type of journey?
Yeah, so the thing to really understand about Texas is that Texas has across its various outcrops and sort of like fossil-rich landscapes, over 180 million years of consistent history in some places, which means that there are some places in Texas like the Big Bend or other places like in North Texas where you have tremendous remains of ancient animals, ancient plants, all these ancient ecosystems that can really give you just like a deep look at how the landscape is changing, how the animal faunas are changing. So it's not just dinosaurs. Sometimes there are places where you can go and find like tree branches and tree trunks that are still in the ground where they were 80 million, 90 million years ago.
Wow, which is so fascinating. Okay, some challenges though from public museums and academic paleontologists. What are the challenges they face in really collecting fossils around the state?
That's a great question. So because Texas has so much private land, in a lot of places paleontology is done in the West. You go out to public land, you apply to the Bureau of Land Management, you apply to the National Park System. They say, of course, this is federal land, so anything you're collecting is immediately going into sort of like museums or federal collections. Here, because it's private land, you're dealing with landowners, and landowners may or may not decide to let you dig, they may or may not decide to let you keep it, they may or may not decide to donate it. And museums really can only take things that are deeded to them. They don't want to spend money for fossils because that's entering into the private market, and people who are paying for fossils in the private market are able to like drive the prices up in ways that museums often feel that they can't equal or match.
Okay. And then lastly, in your story, you wrote about Texas museums and how they're really focusing on their paleontology programs. What are some of those efforts, and why do you think that we're seeing this focus?
Yeah, that's a great question. So what changed was, for a while, there was a sort of a specific generation of Texas paleontologists who were working here, and then many of those people, they left, they retired, they died, and then people were doing work in China, they were doing work in Alaska, and there wasn't very much interest in hometown fossils. And what changed was there was a sort of a new generation of Texas paleontologists who came in and were like, well, there's this incredible stuff out in the Big Bend, there's incredible stuff outside of Dallas, and we really should be focusing on this. So places like the Perot Museum have started really stepping up their collecting. Places like the Whitty Museum in San Antonio have like created a fossil department where really there wasn't one prior to. And of course, our own hometown Texas Memorial Museum is finally shrugging off a long period of not being adequately funded and is reopening. And hopefully will be much more out in the field as well.
Okay, so you did a lot of research for this story. What was the most fascinating thing though for you in regards to this effort?
Oh God. Well, I think that the most fascinating thing for me was the realization of just how much fossil history there is in this state. I'd grown up knowing about, obviously, the dinosaur tracks out in Glen Rose. You know, I knew about things like the giant pterosaurs of the Big Bend, but I didn't know, for example, the fact that you can find dinosaur fossils, dinosaur trackways in Uvalde and Leander, that, you know, some of these areas of fossil exposure just span the entire state. You know, these ancient seaways and these ancient beaches where dinosaurs were walking down it like it was a highway, you know, to sort of get from forest to forest, and that stuff is all recorded in the rock. It's beautifully as if some of these animals had just like walked by a few hours ago.
Oh, wow, okay. And we'll link your article on our website.
Thank you so much.
On KXAN.com as always. Thank you so much for
joining us
for having
today.
Me.